All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Tricaster station. If you're the director in a broadcast, you get to operate this thing. And so when you turn it on, there's an on button on the front of the Tricaster. It's a little round button in the bottom left corner. You'll get to this screen and you just click New, just to make a new project. And then you enter the session name, so we could call it like First Eagle Insider. I'm going to do First Eagle Insider 2 because I already named one that. And then you don't have to change anything else. We do like the resolution to be 1080i, so if it's not that, then make sure it is. All right. And then you just click Start Session a couple times, and then it'll jump to this, and you can just go ahead and click Start Live Production. You can import media from here if you click Manage, and you can do some graphics work here too if you want, but we're just going to go ahead and hit Live Production for today. And once you start live production, the Tricaster goes into connecting to all of its everything that's plugged into it. It's going to feed into this production. And so right now I've got two cameras hooked up to the Tricaster, and you'll see those inputs up here. So this is 1 and this is 2. Okay? So the first thing before we do this, like after we get the cameras hooked up, at every broadcast there will be graphics and video that we need to bring in to enhance our broadcast. Because if our reporters are just if our news broadcasts are just a bunch of talking heads, it's going to be boring. So this down here, there's a bunch of different panels where media can come in, but the DDR tab is the digital disc recorder, and that's where we import all of our media and pictures and such. And so to import some media, you just click Add, and then there's a lot of different like recents and things like this, but it's probably easiest if you see the Browse button. You can just browse, and then you'll notice it's just a regular Windows browsing unit, and you can go to Productions, and you can go into anywhere. If you have like a folder in here where your team is saving their media, you can just go into it. I'll just go into the final projects here and grab some videos from Tyler's folder. So let's grab the Mix and Masher, hold Control, and I will get his YouTube profile pic here too. Click Open, and Shazam! I've just imported some stuff, and if I just double click this, it'll start playing. Okay. Now to help you understand how this all works, it's kind of interesting because all of this right here is called the control surface, and it's a physical version of this right here. So everything here is exactly the same as this. And so if you look at here, you've got two rows. You've got a preview row, which is everything that shows up in this preview monitor. And then you have the program row, which is everything that's live. So if you want to switch live to something, you just tap Program and it'll switch immediately. So you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4. We could have up to 4 cameras hooked up to this at one time. So that's how you switch between 1 and 2. If you had one reporter saying a story from one part in the studio, you could switch then to the next reporter just like that. If you had a reporter who was telling a story and then they talked about a video that they were going to show, or you had some sort of graphic to play at the same time, then you could hit the DDR. Which is where our video is, okay? And then you can have it queued up to autoplay and such too, so that when you actually switch to it, it starts to play automatically, or it switches to the next thing. There's a lot of different controls you can mess with in here, okay? I'll tell you one more thing, and then I'll let you play, and that is that you can actually transition between things too. I've been only showing you like straight cuts, which is kind of fun to do, but you can use transitions too, if it's like the beginning or the end, or maybe you're bringing in a video and a transition would fit. I don't think it's good to transition between reporters. It just looks cheesy. Nobody does that on the news. But if you are like bringing in a video or a graphics, it's kind of cool if the graphic flies in or fades in or does something cool. And it's really cool to start and end the broadcast with a transition as well. So to set up transitions, you've got some options right here. You can do, let's see, where is it? I think you just click, oh yeah, it's right here. On the actual control surface, there are different types of transitions. If you just scroll there's a select knob, and if you just scroll between that, you can actually like choose a bunch of different transitions. And then there's a rate option too, where you can choose how long the transition is going to be. So in Premiere, you do this, you know, like clicking and dragging a mouse, but here you're actually turning a dial. So it's measured in frames, so 30 frames per second. So that's a 1 second long transition. Let's make it a half a second. We'll go with 15 frames. And then all you do is you select what input, like let's say we were going to DDR next. So we press DDR in preview, and then we could use the T-bar to transition to it. Boom. Isn't that cool? All right, and then let's say we were going back to the reporter. Oops, messed up that. You can just tap the, you can actually even, without the T-bar, you can use the T-bar if you want to transition. It's like a manual transition, but there's also an auto transition too, where if you tap auto, oh, it's because it's like not doing it. Okay, I gotta turn off auto there. I don't know. You'll have to play with it. I'm sorry. I probably have it on like manual mode right now and I need to like switch it out or something. I'm not really sure where I'm at. But, see, now we're coming back. I don't know what I did. But somehow now it works. So if I press auto, my 1 second transition is working for me. Okay? So you'll have to play around with it, but the idea is I want you to be able to transition between like reporters and media and just be familiar with that. So play around with it, see if you can figure out the workflow. Have fun.